Hello and welcome. Tonight I'll be showing you how to make a very easy, very simple air forge out of a few bits and bobs you may have lying around. I recently destroyed my old forge through being a clumsy bastard, so I thought I'd make a new and improved one, ironing out all the mistakes I made the first time round. This one, as you can see, works very well. Wow. First, you'll need a pipe. Boom. This I got from Bunnings, which if you're not Australian is a local hardware store and place full of magic and wonder. Next piece I recovered from an old gas stove. Both are pretty manky, so they will need some cleaning up, but both are very hard wearing and solid pieces. So to clean them up, I'm just using an angle grinder with a flat disc, because these two pieces are absolutely caked on with old welds and molten metal from being in the old forge, the one which I broke. So after I've cleaned up the ends of them as much as I can, getting rid of all the burrs and all the uneven parts, I'm going to put them onto the disc sander to flatten and smoothen them off. Next, fit them up so they're as flush as possible, because you don't want to get any air escaping from that part, because that won't be under the fire. Stick your welding gear on. I'm going to grind up the edge of the pipe just because I want to get a good connection for the welder. I know I should be wearing long sleeves, but it's bloody hot out and I won't be welding for long. There's a few things in this video where the hardened health and safety people will probably be a bit upset with me. But I'm just a lad in his carport making some things. Once that's cleaned up, attach the welder, try and get it to bloody work. Boom. I'm using an adapter for my welder because I don't have the right plug socket in the carport, but it does mean that it keeps tripping itself out every now and then. But once it gets going good. There we go, tripped itself out, bastard. That's why you'll hear me swearing quite a lot. Turn it over, check everything, make sure you've filled up every single hole that the air can escape from, because unless it's under coal, you don't want the air escaping from anywhere else. Get the maximum blow on those coals. Next thing you want to do is you want to block off the end. It's a bit haggard, this old gas stove piping, but a little bit of steel I've got lying around, chop that off, weld it on. That'll block off all the air gaps. Perfect sizing. I've dumped a piece of wood behind this this little piece of metal just to hold it in place, because I was finding it difficult to get it to stay in place properly. And the good thing about wood is it will burn, but it won't conduct electricity. Now, one problem with welding is this: if it sticks to the metal, it usually means the amperage is too low on the welder, and it will just keep sticking and yanking the pieces apart. I'm not a good welder, I'm only learning, but I'm enjoying learning, and every time you make a mistake you usually find a reason for it. Good old Google, good old YouTube, and bit by bit you get better. But yeah, I'm a terrible welder, but it's bloody good fun. Flipping adapter happens over and over again, but you work with what you got. I don't even have a shed, I'm working out of a carport. Get all those holes filled up and try not to set fire to your desk at the same time. Now that's all welded up nice and tight, onto the next stage. You want to put the air holes in. You want to put these in as regular spacing as you can. And these will be the ones that will blast the air up into the coals and turn them from hot into super hot. I'm just using a thin blade on my angle grinder. I'm just going to go down the length of the pipe, just put in as deep as I can. When you can see the sparks from inside the other holes, you know they've broken through into the actual main part of the pipe. Lovely jubbly. Now let's see if this bad boy works. So I'm attaching a pump which I got from Red Dot, which is kind of like a reject shop, for about $15. It's just an airbed pump, and I found that it actually pumps out enough air for something like this to work very well. Make sure you've got a nice tight seal, and as you can see it is working, but there are a few holes which could be just a little bit deeper. The air at the end is coming out really fast, but the air just here is a little bit soft. So back to the angle grinder, and we shall deepen those holes up and make a bit more air come through them. I once tried this with a leaf blower, and that worked very well, to the point where it turned, well, I was trying to heat treat a knife and it turned the tip into liquid. So leaf blower might be just a little bit too much air, but later on I might revisit that and see what I can do with it. Let's try it out again. Much better. Nice even heat all the way down. Heat, air, you know what I mean. Done and done. Looks like a kind of battle axe or war hammer. For the base, I'm using an old spit roast which I took apart. It's big enough, it holds it down and it keeps the heat in nicely, and just jammed a hole through the end to get the pipe through. And I'm actually going to fill it with, it's charcoal, but it was charcoal which was left out in the rain, so the charcoal turned to dust basically. But it's actually perfect for what I'm after, because it's going to form a base which the burning charcoal can sit on, and it will just sculpt nicely around the air vents, because we don't want them to be covered. There we go, beautiful. That should give us a nice heat, if it works. And now to light the fire. Light the fire. Bastard. After all that, the bloody lighter doesn't work. New lighter, boom. I could go all Bear Grylls on it and light a fire with twigs and friction, but I find a blowtorch is a lot more fun. Once you get the main flames established, go over and turn on your little pump, and that should start the fire blazing properly. Fingers crossed. Let's see. Boom, you can see those flames flickering into action. It'll take a few minutes to warm up properly. And you want, after it, when it's glowing hot, you want to get your charcoal on, get them heating up. And soon enough you'll have an absolute furnace. Nice tiny little pump does the world of good. This is starting to heat up nicely now. Start dumping on that charcoal, get it warming up. If you can get hold of coke, use coke. It burns a lot hotter and it's a lot better for forges, but sadly, being in a country town, I don't have access to coke at the moment, so for the time being I use Bunnings charcoal. And don't tell anyone, a little bit of oil goes a long way. Now to test this out, this is a little project I've been working on. It's only a little piece, but I'm trying to forge a little bit of folded steel. I've folded it about 3 times so far, but the old forge, the one which I broke, couldn't quite get it hot enough. This one I've got high hopes for. So once I've folded it over and bashed the living crap out of it, hopefully I'll be able to make a small little billet and make a nice little neck knife out of it. Because so far I've been doing stock removal and railway spikes, Railway spikes look cool, but the steel's so soft that they just lose their edge quite quickly. But you can't quite see the colour because of the sunshine, but believe me, this is glowing red hot. I'll tell you one thing, when you first start blacksmithing, you'll realise that your right arm gets a proper workout. Even when it's red hot, it's still hard to hit. Oh god, what I'd do for a power hammer, but that's in the future. Right now, just me, my arm and my hammer.
There you have it. A few hours of work and a few scraps left lying around with an airbed pump, and you've made yourself a forge which can heat metal hot enough to hammer. There we go. So yeah, didn't take long, very cheap to make. I mean, the scraps I had lying around, but a pipe like this will probably cost you about $10 from a department store. Airbed fan, if you're going to Red Dot or somewhere similar, that will cost you $15. As for the spit roast tray, good luck finding one of those. But yeah, very cost effective, very easy, took less than 3 hours to make. Now you can start your blacksmithing, and hopefully this will actually work out to be folded steel and I can turn it into a knife. Thanks for watching.